What's up, everybody? This is Colin Dijs. I'm here today with McFarlane, and in this video, we'll show you how to make money with native advertising on optimizing a landing page. So what do we have for you today is a video sales landing page inside the Dabru landing page builder. And obviously, when it comes to optimizing landing pages, there are a lot of different elements that you could adjust in order to get the page converting better, because obviously the difference between a 20% click-through rate and a 40% click-through rate is, after all, 100% ROI, right? So if all the metrics stay the same, there's usually a lot of momentum to be gained on the actual landing page. However, now the question, what should you adjust after you've completed the initial test? So Russ, how many clicks should we at least get to the lander in order to calculate what would be suitable?
More is always better for the law of averages, but a minimum required amount would be 100 clicks.
100 clicks. Well, I think that on native especially is extremely easy, right? Mm-hmm. So get 100 clicks to your lander, and then already you could set up a rotator with different variations of your lander if you want to test it more. Preferably, we would give it 200, 250 clicks just to stabilize the data a little bit, but 100 clicks would be the bare minimum. All right, so we have basically the advertising callout at the top as the first variable. This could also be at the bottom, which here it also adds, so you just have to use one. Then we have the logo, we have an additional author field, a headline, an image, which is like basically the main clickable image. Then we have some body copy, 3 paragraphs or 3 lines here, 1 paragraph, a call to action, and then some legal terms, right? Well, obviously the legal text and the legal pages we're never going to test, right? Because basically we want people to stay away from that section preferably. However, now you're left with a whole bunch of information. Well, first of all, important, what are you running? Are you running desktop or, for example, tablet? On the tablet field, you see that there's no use initially in moving the call to action, or you have to move it up a little bit. Because in the portrait view, in the tablet view, the landscape view on mobile, things will look very differently. So in this example, I would probably remove the author, I would remove the logo to bring the rest of the page up, right? Especially if this image is clickable. However, let's say for this example, we run desktop and we have this full information. I always have the feeling that my call to action has to be clickable, right? Straight from the start. So I would prefer to have an image or something to the top. So in this example, I'll probably remove this logo and I'll remove this advertisement part, so to bring the rest of the page up. Okay, so now I can see the text, right? So when it loads, I see the text. I still have the author profile and that additional feeling. If you, oh, we don't want to do that. If you select this box, right, you could make some adjustments to these elements, but not specifically necessary. This image, however, what I like to do is I always like to use the play button here, right? Like make like a fake. Maybe I even have one. Maybe I can show you guys. Look, bang. See? So for this one, it has like a fake YouTube play button. So all of a sudden, this image basically becomes the call to action, right?
Yeah.
In this example, you don't necessarily have to put the call to action, which is here, to the top. You can just have this one, which I think this one looks quite cool, right? The play button should maybe be a little bit smaller, but this was professionally designed by me, right? So it's obviously amazing. But the question is now really, we moved the logo because it's not as powerful, doesn't add too much to the lander anyway. You want the picture of the author to be here, and especially the views for the authority aspect that is trustworthy. So the next thing, we already replaced the image, right? So the image, I would say it would be number 1 to optimize. It is the largest visual aspect of the page, right? So 20% of this page, maybe 30%, depending on the desktop size, is covered by this main image. So you definitely don't want to skip that. You want to put the emphasis there. Then on the other hand, this gets the attention, could get the click, and otherwise the headline pushes the click, right? So definitely here, well, Russ, what could we put here? Variation.
What I would do is, once I'd finished my testing images phase and then testing the headline phase, I would take maybe one of my best headlines and then test that against on the lander to then see if that would increase the lander CTR for more coherency.
Makes sense. So basically take your ad headline, put it on the page, and then have the good flow there.
Yep.
Yeah, that would be good.
Maybe even add in like a watch now, just to let the audience know that I appreciate that this has got a video play button here, but just something just to hook them in again.
Below it?
No, yeah, below it or even just next to it, depending on how long the headline was, which I was running.
Or you could do perhaps like click to watch even on the image. Like I noticed that the ClickBank offers, they have that, right? Like in bold letters. Yeah, but next to it as well, instead of trying tonight, watch now. I mean, the sentence structure is very important, however, because as human beings, obviously we're very much visual focused, right? We have a lot of metrics that we analyze continuously, you know, oh, blue button, oh, like dark segment here. And the impulses are very strong. So the attention span is short. So once you hook that impulse with this image, you basically want to get the click. If you don't, and they do show some interest on like, hey, maybe what's this, what looks weird, then they read the headline, right? You obviously would not read this or this, you would read the biggest text, and usually that would be the headline, right? If we would go to, for example, to CNN, right? You basically read this first. Taliban takes Afghanistan, right? That's what you would read. You would read this, you would read this, and that's why these headlines are in bold, a little bit bigger than the rest. And you read the front page news, what they want you to read, you read that first. Does that make sense?
Yep, grab the attention, yeah.
Yeah, look at this. Basically, again, here you have the same 3 headlines and then additional information. So you wouldn't scan through the additional information. Maybe 1% of people will if you go through it thoroughly. So the body copy would probably be 3rd or 4th on my list. I'll probably put the call to action first, split test the colors, split test the text, you know, and then perhaps the body copy, because let's be frank, if we would load a lender like this, would you take your time to read the body copy or would you just click?
I would probably just click, but if you really want it to be really thorough, you could suggest, although we work on facts and not suggestions, that if someone was on a desktop, they may be more inclined to read the body copy as they're actually there to read, whereas mobile is more just tap, tap, tap.
All right, let's say we're interested in this. Yeah, what I say? Asteroid now has a greater chance of hitting Earth, but still slave. Okay, we click on this. The guy I'm not going to read this. I'm just going to scroll. Okay, picture.
Looks interesting.
Yeah. Scroll, and then I see. Okay, Banu. It's talking about a study. Not interested. Right.
Yeah, sure.
And then basically the body copy. I think we then agree. Although people would read it, it comes in last. So it's image for the optimization, headline or headline image, but I would prefer myself image, then call to action, then body copy. What do you say?
Yeah, I would agree with that. Image, 100%. I would always test my images first.
And then of course the layout, right? Because we already adjusted the layout.
Oh yeah, sorry. After that, after that, you can test the layout. Yeah, sorry. I thought you meant, yeah. What would be number 1? Then the layout, I can change the layout.
You can even line out the spacing. There's some white space here with the additional box you might remove. You might bring these 2 closer together. You can adjust it all, maybe a little bit more room between the image and the headline. You can make it very aesthetic, right? It just takes some time to touch it up properly, because this is just an image I pulled really quick, but you can also see the black. You can see that this element is a lot smaller than the other elements. I don't know if it's supposed to be like that or not, but it definitely shouldn't be, because I took this as a screenshot, of course, and I photoshopped it all together. But yeah, I would make this look a little bit more professional, a little bit more clean, because I think, you know, once you have that, let's say 45% click-through rate, then getting that to 50% is a lot more difficult than getting it from 20 to 40.
Yeah.
Right. That small additional steps is just going to be touch-ups, You know, it's change the layout a little bit, change the colors a little bit, see how the audience behave when it comes to the lander. You know, some people, I don't recommend putting heat maps on landers because it slows down the loading speed a lot, right? But when you get into like a profitable flow, you're looking to increase, let's say, LP CTR by 5–10%, put maybe a heat map for 1 day and just see what the users do, right? Specifically on desktop, that is extremely interesting. Because if you might think that, oh, let me change this colors, let me put in this image, let me do this, and the users, they never even scroll. If the user doesn't scroll in this example, anything from the second paragraph down, the call to action doesn't have to be tested because they never see it. You have to ask yourself, why don't they scroll? Right? You would never notice unless you have these recordings of people clicking, like heat maps, like recordings of their actual presence. But if you do this in the start, you will lose out on a lot of traffic because your loading speed of your lander is not fast enough. And we don't want that. We want all the traffic, right? So here are the 4 points. Focus on the layout, the images, the headline, then the call to action dash the body copy. That's everything on the optimization of the landing page. Very quick, very thorough. Ross, thank you for assisting me once more. You guys, thanks for watching. If you have any questions on how to optimize a native advertising landing page by adjusting the metrics on the page, feel free to ask in the comments down below. And we'll see you guys in the next one.